Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay? My girlfriend's family's insane dinner bill? I, 27M, have been dating my girlfriend, Emily, 25F, for about a year now. We've had a great relationship overall, but one thing that has always been a bit of a red flag for me is how entitled her family can be when it comes to money. I make a decent living, nothing crazy, but enough to live comfortably. Emily, on the other hand, is still figuring things out career-wise, so I usually pick up the check when we go out. I don't mind because I love her, and I understand she's not in the best financial position right now. However, her family, Snake-on, is a whole different story. Emily had been pushing for me to meet her parents and siblings for a while. She always spoke highly of them, saying how warm and welcoming they were. But she also dropped hints about how they expect a lot more from people financially. That was a red flag, but I figured I'd go in with an open mind. So we finally set up a dinner at this really fancy steakhouse in the city. I suggested a more casual place, but Emily insisted that her family loves this spot and that it would mean a lot if I took them there. I was hesitant, but I agreed. The night started off well enough. I met her parents, her older brother, 30M, and her younger sister, 22F. They were polite at first, asking me about my job, my background, and how I felt about Emily. But then things took a turn. The moment the waiter came to take our orders, her family went wild. Her dad immediately ordered the most expensive steak on the menu, a $120 Wagyu filet, along with lobster tail and a bottle of ice premium wine. Her mom ordered a similar meal plus a fancy cocktail. Her brother ordered 2 appetizers for himself, a $150 tomahawk steak and a side of truffle fries. Even her younger sister, who I thought would be more reasonable, ordered Yemen to the Seafood Tower as an appetizer, which was $90 alone, and the lobster risotto as her main dish. Emily, to my surprise, didn't hold back either. She ordered a full-course meal with appetizers, drinks, and dessert. I kept my order simple, a normal steak and a beer. I started getting nervous when I saw the bill stacking up in my head, but I stayed quiet. I assumed they were paying for themselves, or at least covering part of the bill. Then the check arrived. $1,120. I reached for my wallet, but before I could even react, Emily's mom smiled and said, "Thank you so much for treating us. That was such a lovely meal." Wait, what? Emily leaned over and whispered, "Babe, you got this, right?" I looked at her completely dumbfounded. I had never agreed to this. At no point was it discussed that I would be paying for the entire family. I turned to her parents and politely said, "Oh, I thought we were all paying for our own meals." Her dad let out a loud fake laugh and said, "That's cute, but you're the man here, aren't you?" Emily squeezed my hand under the table, looking embarrassed but also expecting me to cave. I put my card back in my wallet and said, "I'm happy to cover what Emily and I ordered, but I'm not paying for everyone." The table went dead silent. Her brother scoffed, her mom shook her head, and her dad glared at me like I had insulted his entire bloodline. Her mom muttered something about how a real man wouldn't make a lady's family pay. And her brother said, "If you can't afford to take us out, maybe you shouldn't be dating my sister." Emily Namano looked mortified, but not at them. At me. She started whisper yelling about how I embarrassed her, and how she had told them I was generous and that they would never expect this treatment from her ex. At that point, I had enough. I waved the waiter over, paid for only mine and Emily's meals, and left with the rest of the bill on the table. I grabbed my coat and walked out, ignoring the shocked looks behind me. Emily followed me outside, furious. She said I was cheap, selfish, and humiliated her in front of her family. She also said this was a test to see how I'd handle being part of her family long term. I told her, If your family's idea of a test is scamming me out of $1,000, then I think I failed it. She called me a jerk and said she needed space. I told her to take all the space she wanted and left. Now I'm getting texts from her brother and mom calling me an asshole. Even some of her ICE friends have messaged me saying I should have just sucked it up for the sake of the relationship. I don't think I did anything wrong, but now I'm wondering if I should have just paid to keep the peace. So, am I the a-hole?